One man dead and one critical after a 6-day drunken spree. But is it alcohol poisoning or did someone put something toxic in their drink? Police aren't sure. And the airport opens on Thursday. The Director of Health Services says expect delays. You'll hear why. And UDP politician Philip Willoughby is a PUP supporter, framing him for an assault charge. Also, we'll have the latest COVID numbers as the DHS discusses the way the current trend is going. Plus, gyms have been closed for over a month. Tonight, owners are demanding an opening. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, 28 September 2020. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
We do these things without thinking, to keep our possessions safe. And yet, we think twice about doing this. Even though calling Crime Stoppers is an anonymous way to make our homes, schools, and communities safer, which helps to protect the people we care about. Call Crime Stoppers to anonymously report criminal activity in your area. By working together, we can make our Belize a safer place. This message is brought to you by Crime Stoppers Belize and this station.
Como el alcohol, tabaco, comida y objetos. Aparte de romper la ley, los contrabandistas están poniendo ahora en riesgo la salud de los beliceños. Ellos arriesgan traer coronavirus a Belice por medio de sus contrabandos. Para mantener el COVID-19 fuera de Belice, todos los que entren al país son examinados y encuarentenados. Sin embargo, los contrabandistas no utilizan los puntos de entrada legal y se saltan todas las medidas de seguridad. Estos mismos traficantes se están moviendo entre la población. Ellos podrían tener el virus. Al entrar ilícitamente al país, esto puede provocar un brote de COVID-19. Comprar o traficar contrabando te pone a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Para números de Smart, llama al 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi 0800-728-3293 para reportar cualquier actividad de contrabando. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
So you need a mobile plan that can keep up. Digi is now offering unlimited talk and text and double the data on all plans and up to 60 gigs for the Plus plans. All backed up by the fastest and largest mobile network. More work, more fun, more you. Visit your nearest Digistore today.
This is Jeopardy!
Belizean history for 600.
Who is the head of state in Belize?
Johnny. Who is Lord Michael Ashcroft? Belizean history for 400.
Why did Belizeans elect the PUP in the past?
Johnny. What is to steal? Belizean history for 200.
When did Belize gain independence?
Johnny. What is 1979?
Grandpa, I want crystal water, please. Can I please get one crystal water, please?
Okay, dear.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It pleases your heart, knowing she will grow up drinking the brand you have always trusted. It gives you peace of mind. Crystal water. Taste you can trust.
Trimming the hedges and overgrown trees, packing food supplies, ensuring that you have medical supplies and important documents are all part of your hurricane preparations. But what about your home insurance? An insurance policy with RFNG Insurance gives you the confidence that your home and possessions are protected when a natural disaster strikes. Include RFNG in your hurricane plans and join the thousands of Belizeans who have learned why it pays to get it right. RFNG Insurance is a road company.
The open government that I envision means that secret deals and large sell-offs can no longer be tolerated.
Then tell us about the tablets, Mr. Farber. A $7 million contract awarded without tendering. Why weren't other companies allowed to bid for the contract? You say that the tablets will cost nearly $500 each, but other companies say the tablets cost half that. As Minister of Education, you are in charge of this special deal. Why the secrecy? Is this what you mean when you talk about open government? Open for more hustling like normal under the UDP? The thing is, Patrick Farber has always been a part of this corrupt UDP government. He is no different. This is the same UDP, the same faces, the same greed, arrogance, corruption, and incompetence. Nothing has changed. Reject them all. It is time for the UDP to go.
Tonight, one man is dead and another critical after they reportedly engaged in 6 to 10 days of drinking. But is it alcohol poisoning or actual poisoning? Well, that's what Cherise Al-Sal attempted to find out today when she headed west to St. Margaret's Village for a first-hand account of public drinking that ended in tragedy.
It was a quiet, even commonplace evening in St. Margaret's Village, as captured by the surveillance camera at village grocer Ping An Lee. But the calm didn't last, and pretty soon, that very same surveillance camera captured a strange occurrence. An eyewitness who preferred to remain off-camera told us what happened.
I made it by my gate when I see the man no one get up, then I try to lift him up. So I come and see what, I put on my mask and I can see what happened. But when I reach the man, me they foam up one lot. So I tell some of them boys, make them please pick up and put on to sit down. Make it could breathe because me can't breathe. Me can't breathe. So they managed to help me and then put on right there. And they started cleaning and then get water, but he couldn't drink the water. When they pour the water come out. Well, with the other two, then me don't go when I call, and the next one he gone home, the run, the one in a white. But the next one, the car carrier, I'm only interested with this one, yeah, because I know him for a long time. That's why I'm interested in this one, yeah. Then for his boss man come, the run, he say, what happened? Then we tell him, see, he's sick. Then he say he can carry in the hospital. So he can get a vehicle, then he come. And he carry, he's still alive. So 3 men and 1 girl, then put her in the car. Turn them gone. When they reach hospital, then say 10 minutes after that he dead.
We got a similar account this morning from ACP Joseph Myvet, but he says that it may not be as simple as excessive drinking.
That person who had passed away is one Augustine Rivas, 59 years. And the other 2 persons are Marlon Sajet, 27, and Manuel Gonzalez, 64 years. What the police know so far is that these persons are residents of St. Margaret's Village on the Hummingbird Highway, and that they were at an open lot outside of an establishment and may have ingested some liquid which caused them to be foaming. Investigators did visit the scene last night and are back again on the scene this morning to conduct further investigations into this matter. What we were also told is that these persons have been drinking for the last 6 days consecutively in that area. So we are trying to determine whether or not whatever it is that was ingested accidentally or otherwise. Mr. Sajet was treated and released. He's the younger of them. He's 27 years old, whilst Mr. Gonzalez is at the Carl Huishner Memorial Hospital in a critical condition.
And while it was reported that police took over 2.5 hours to arrive on the scene, ACP Myvet says that if that's the case, there is an explanation.
Sir, there were reports that police took an extensively long time to get there?
I do not know that that is the case. What happened in these cases, the scenes of crime officers would usually as well go so that a scene can be processed. And I am aware that a police station is in St. Margaret Village and officers are stationed there, so I do not know that that was the case.
Our eyewitness says that the officer stationed in the village did his best, but that without a car, there wasn't much that he could do.
The police come, me in Kala, so he come by cycle, but he no got no vehicle, the pan cycle, so he can't help. But it's good that he can check and say what happened, and then he buy water, and he give, we give the man, and then we wet him to wipe his face. Then he buy the water who help the man.
Cherise Halsall, 7 News.
Police are awaiting a toxicology report to confirm Agustin Rivas' cause of death. Again, Manuel Gonzalez remains at the KHMH in a critical condition. The Philip Gosen International Airport reopens on Thursday after it was closed in late March, causing the shutdown of overnight tourism and the loss of tens of thousands of jobs and tens of millions of dollars in revenue to the industry and its service providers. Well, now, 6 hard months later, the airport will reopen on Thursday. It's a major multi-agency event to get the tourists and the returning Belizeans through the airport. An hour ago on Ask the Experts, the Director of Health Services discussed the key areas of concerns as his ministry leads a process that is definitely a work in progress.
As we know now, the tourists would still be only accessing gold standard hotels, which means that they are not going to be able to go into the general stream of just coming and going. Belizeans, and I need to stress this, even though you're not going to be required to quarantine in a hotel upon arrival, it is still going to be the staff at the airport that will be telling everybody that you must or you should go and do at minimum 7 to 10 days of quarantine at home. And the reason is very simple. Even if you bring a negative PCR test, you may have still been exposed en route to coming to Belize. I need to also stress that there is the health app has now been modified and it's been circulated from the last version towards the end of last week. You do need to download the app because that app is what will expedite your process at the airport once you arrive. If you don't have the health app upon arrival, then you will have to be delayed a little bit in your paperwork being processed, because then you're going to be asked to fill in all the paper forms as you walk through the different processes at the airport. If you do not have the health app and have to download it there or fill in the form, then that will be a delay in terms of walking you through the health swabbing booths and getting your results. So having the health app will expedite the process significantly. We are anticipating that with the full complement of staff at the airport, the lab techs would be able to process between 15 to 20 samples per hour. That's per lab technician, per lab technologist. So if there's 3 to 4, we anticipate it can be 60 to 80. But at the end of the day, if you don't do up your part of it, we are only going to be able to do what we are able to do. At the end of the day, you understand that we are doing a test. We cannot be rushed through that process because we do not want to compromise the quality of any test result we give versus just trying to do a process to make sure everybody is whisked away from the airport rather quickly. I know on Thursday there's one flight coming out of Miami. It's 76, 77 people on average. On Friday, we can anticipate a delay. There's one flight coming in with 77 people approximately as well. And our 15 minutes approximately is what we are told. We have a flight that is bringing in close to 180 persons. So on Friday, we would anticipate getting more than 250 persons within a space of 1 hour and 15 minutes. Saturday, it's about 220 people within 1 hour and 15 minutes of each other. And by Sunday, that decreases to about 160 persons. So that's Thursday doesn't seem to be that bad, but then if we have 256 people arriving with nobody having downloaded the health app and nobody having a PCR result, you can anticipate delays.
We'll have more from the DHS as he discusses the current trend in COVID infections. But we take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you about the weekend crime news, and you'll see UDP politician Philip Willoughby fend off accusations that he assaulted a Port Loyola resident. Don't go away.
Life of all our residents, particularly those in our rural communities which have been neglected, must and will be of national priority. Attention must be given to real infrastructure which makes a difference to our communities and provides opportunities to our people. And we must address the issue of adequate housing and efficient national transportation for all. The People's United Party has a comprehensive, detailed and doable plan. Join us on the mainstream and social media on Wednesday, September 30th at 10 a.m. as we launch our Plan Belize agenda for rural living, housing and infrastructure and transport. We will create a Belize that works for every man, woman and child. With the PUP and our Plan Belize agendas, everybody for win. Todos ganamos.
Tiles, tiles, and more tiles. Benny's is having a massive tile sale. For the entire month of September, get great deals on every single tile at Benny's. Ceramic tile, porcelain tile, glass tile, stone tile, and HD tile. Also, come and see a wide selection of new arrivals featuring additional blue light specials starting at a low $1.59. It's Benny's massive tile sale. Benny's, quality and savings.
So you need a mobile plan that can keep up. Digi is now offering unlimited talk and text and double the data on all plans and up to 60 gigs for the Plus plans. All backed up by the fastest and largest mobile network. More work, more fun, more you. Visit your nearest Digi store today.
To our Belikin Got Your Back winners to date. Continue purchasing your six-packs and entering your codes for a chance to win over $10,000 in weekly prizes because Belikin got your back.
Belikin, the beer of Belize.
It's Brothers for Bet's big September celebrations patriotic sale, and we got super deals all month long, like 15% off all our quality decorative paints you can wave your flag to. That's Berger, Domestic, Dutch Boy, and Pinto. Plus, Get 15 to 30% off tons of items store-wide. And lots of good stuff on clearance, including tile. So come into Brothers Habet on Barrack Road to celebrate your patriotism all September. Brothers Habet wishes all Belizeans a happy and safe September celebration.
Price Premier Products Limited has been proudly serving Belize for many years. We aim to serve you better and are pleased to announce our new office with convenient parking at number 1728 Chatamal Street, Belize City. Here, you will find our Price Smart outlet opening on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Be impressed with the variety of quality branded products such as Pampers, Always, Tide and Downy, Del Monte, DAC, Vigo and Alessi, Duracell, Crystal Farm Cheese, Linda Powdered Milk, Great Lakes Pork Tails, Ground Coffee, Authentic Gillette for men and women. We distribute many of the world's top and finest brands to supermarkets and stores nationwide. For authentic brands and quality products, visit us today. Price Premier Products Limited, importer and distributor of fine quality products.
I'm Chef Sean Quillen, and I got a nice surprise for you today.
Take your cooking skills to a whole new level with Glazed Out, TNC's first ever cooking show with culinary expert Chef Sean Quillen. Tune in every week for exciting Belizean cuisine and some of Belize's biggest names in culinary art and culture, and watch as they create unique and delicious meals that will surely excite your taste buds. Glazed Out, in the kitchen with Chef Sean.
Belizean food, how another level. Premiering only on TNC 10.
On September 6th, we told you about Debbie Clark, the young mother who sustained 3 bullet wounds in the drive-by shooting of her Carrillo Puerto Avenue home. One of the bullets hit her in the left hand and shattered the bone, while another bullet was left lodged in her left upper shoulder. Still, Clark managed to get her children to safety with none of them sustaining any bullet wounds. This morning, police were still uncertain about the intended target in Clark's shooting, but they've managed to capture both of the shooters. We learned one of their identities from ACP Maivet at this morning's press briefing.
Over the weekend, police arrested and charged one Nathaniel Betancourt of a Santa Elena Town address. He's 19 years old, in relation to a shooting incident on the 6th of September where Debbie D. Clark was injured at her home on Carrillo Puerto Avenue in San Ignacio. Police is also seeking one more person in relation to this investigation. I'm not going to go into details other than to say that when the matter was reported, 2 persons rode past on a motorcycle, and in the process, one of those persons fired shots towards the home of Miss Debbie D. Clark.
Sir, have investigators been able to nail down who was the intended target of that shooting?
Not at this time.
Police have since also charged 24-year-old Gilbert Pandy as the second shooter. It is believed these men had a beef with someone at Clark's house. The weekend saw 2 more COVID deaths, which brings the total number to 24 since March. The victims are a male in his late 70s who had been admitted at the KHMH's ICU and the 62-year-old female from Orange Walk. With 1,854 confirmed cases of COVID since March and 24 deaths, the case fatality rate in Belize is now 1.3%. For comparison, Jamaica is at 1.5%, Barbados is at less than 1%, Guyana is at 3%, Guatemala is at 3.6%, while the municipality of Oton B. Blanco, Mexico, which includes Chetumal and all surrounding villages, is at 5.6%. Over the weekend, between Friday night and Sunday night, 722 tests were processed and 96 were positive, which is a positivity rate of 13%. Presently, Belize has 634 active cases and 1,196 recovered, meaning that active cases now comprise only a third of the total number of infected persons. A short while ago on Ask the Experts, Dr. Marvin Manzanero discussed a current trend in infections. He said it dipped down but has been trending back up over last week.
I can tell you that we did have lower positivity rates based on samples taken in the second week of September. Not as high numbers as we had in August, but the numbers were still in the first week of September significant. They were in the third week of September. They kind of went back to where we were in the first week of September, and the last week we had noticed, particularly for Corozal and Ridgeback, that they still have increasing numbers. The 21st of September was when we had the least amount of percentage-wise, that is, we had 4% only of positive samples that were processed, but we are going routinely now between 15 to 18% of the samples that are processed are turning out positive. The preliminary data for today would indicate that we have at least 37 new cases.
And this morning at a virtual wellness symposium in Belize City, Dr. Fernando Cuellar discussed the broad statistical breakdown between infected persons who develop symptoms and those who don't.
When it comes to COVID, 85%, 8 out of 10 people who catches COVID will be either asymptomatic or with mild conditions, and the other remaining will be ones who, the 15% will require hospitalization for oxygen use, and God forbid, some of those will require ICU care.
The 4-hour event was the launch event for Wellness Week organized by the Ministry of Health. The DHS says that the subject of wellness is even more important during the current COVID pandemic, while Cuellar underscored some of the risk factors.
So, of course, we welcome the notion of wellness today, but it shouldn't be just today or the last week of September. It's trying to make sure how it becomes a topic that is as interesting, remains as relevant as COVID-19 is, and we carry both of them along together.
For example, if we have diabetes, we are 3 times more likely to get severe COVID rather than not having diabetes. And we have severe obesity if we're extremely obese. And you'll be surprised that Belizeans sometimes are a little bit unacquainted with that word, obese. So I definitely am one that in the practice of medicine in Belize, I like to transmit messages clear. So if you're fat and if you're extra fat, then that is called severe obesity. So this that I'm seeing, the chronic fatigue, I think I saw 5 patients last week with post-COVID condition, and every one of them described one condition where they're just fatigued. They're just tired. They don't have the energy. And you do the physical examination and everything is normal. You listen to them, their lungs, and you check their pulse ox, and everything is fine and dandy, but they still complain of having this severe generalized weakness.
So we could either look at this time of COVID as being a time of despair and distress, or we can look at it as a time when we can take a good evaluation of how we are and work towards evolution, work towards positivity, and work towards progression.
There are events planned for all this week, starting with a staff testing day for tomorrow. And to make sure that progression is towards health and not harm, today the Director of Health Services discussed the key factors that have been consistent comorbidities of COVID deaths in Belize.
Because for the Belize context, what we are noticing is that there seem to be 2 salient risk factors that are starting to come out in people who are having mortality associated to SARS-CoV-2. And those 2 risk factors in almost all cases would be hypertension, high blood pressure, and obesity. So it's important that we address those situations because once you start addressing adequate health, eating adequate or healthful, drinking healthy drinks, doing physical activity, you're really counteracting the diabetes, the hypertension, the obesity, and obviously the SARS-CoV-2 element.
As you heard earlier, there have been 24 COVID-related deaths in Belize. The general elections are weeks away and candidates are ramping up their campaigns to a fever pitch. Tonight, however, the UDP's Philip Willoughby is being pressured by a Port Layula voter. Virginio Roches is accusing the veteran politician of acting in a thuggish manner last week Friday. He is alleging that Willoughby almost pushed him off a bicycle, which he was riding with a full tank of butane. Now, we've been interacting with the media-friendly Philip Willoughby for about 15 years now, and in that time he has never displayed any hint of hostile or aggressive behavior. But Roches insists it happened and that he has reported the incident to police with the intent to press charges. He outlined his accusation to us about how it allegedly went down last Friday.
I was coming down Genosha Boulevard with my LPG tank full with gas, and I see Mr. Willoughby jump out of his vehicle, shove me by my side while I in the process I riding, almost fell off my bicycle. I continue ride. I don't pay no mind, I just continue ride.
Did he say anything?
All he say, Roches, I don't want you to disrespect me, you know. I don't say nothing. I just continue ride, and when I reach home, I call the police and I put it in the police hand. Because I call the radio station and I make the people at Port Layula know Mr. Willoughby in the area for the past 2 years and he has done nothing for the port for the past 2 years. And I call the radio station and now you want to tell me I disrespect you for that? Well, I already done so already. I have made a complaint yesterday to the Raccoon Street Police Station, and we will see what is the outcome of this investigation.
Are we certain that you aren't here to try to attack his credibility? Are you any sort of PUP operative?
I am not trying to do so. That's why I tell Mr. Willoughby, if you say I disrespect you, you could just easily go to the police station and make a report so that I disrespect you. You have not done so. You rather go through violence. I have the right to vote for who I want. I have the right of speech of freedom.
I'm not sure what I'm just saying. We're just making sure that you are not using your freedom of speech to try to impugn this man's character before an election.
Nah, that is not what I am doing. He do it for himself. Because if he never do it, I wouldn't be here right now. What I try to say, I just there to make Mr. Willoughby know this is the first and this will be the last time I could say whatever I want over the radio station. Then you carry me in a court and I tell her, sue me. I want you to sue me. You don't do that. You don't go to the police station and say, me say this over the radio station and me said this. You, when I pass Genosha Boulevard with your entourage, you go shoot me down with my LPG. What if my LPG may burst and it explode? Your supporter may in a danger. I may in a danger. And you never may there for election day.
We sought out Willoughby for a comment and he flatly denied Roches's claims. Willoughby insists that he did approach Roches to have a discussion about a previous exchange they'd had less than a month ago. He claims that while he was campaigning on Junior Street in the Genosha Boulevard area, Roches insulted and disrespected him for an extended period of time. He says that he approached Roches to address that disagreement and that he never got physical in any way with him. Here's his response to Roches's accusation that he behaved in an aggressive and thug-like manner.
About 3 weeks ago, whilst campaigning on GR Street, which is behind Genosha Boulevard, okay, I was doing the house-to-house tour, visiting the residents in the constituency. As I began my campaign in GR Street, this dude stood on the street, then went on his veranda, then came onto the street again. They cuss from the top of his voice, just to disrespect me and be rude. I believe that one half or both were at play where a state of mind, which I would say he was either normal, one, and that's his natural behavioral tendencies. Could it be that he was intoxicated or and was under the influence of some drug? So one of the above or all of the above could have been in play to have this individual just curse the whole night through for about 2-3 hours. The neighbors and the lady from the yard asked him to leave. The neighbors told him to behave himself, and he refused. He utterly refused. Friday afternoon.
What's the first time you saw him?
I saw him after that. I was at one of my campaigners' home. I'm going over the week's work, and I saw him riding by, and I approached him, yes, thinking, well, this is maybe the normal state of mind, and only to say to him, sir, your behavior wasn't becoming of a human being, and please just leave me alone. That was it. That was all that was said to him.
Did you ever touch him?
No, sir. Nothing more, nothing less. And other people were there to see what happened. It was nothing of the sort. So he fabricated the story, whatever that story was, that he took to the airwaves, as you put it, or that he approached your media house, and maybe it's to affect me, but those people who knows him and knows his history, that's just how Mr. Roches behaves.
Willabine says that he has been trying his hand at peacemaking for the warring gangs in the J. Nasha Boulevard area. He says that he wouldn't risk the early success of those attempts and his candidacy in Port to pick a fight with Roches. We asked about his accusers' insistence that he will press criminal charges. He said that he has witnesses to back up that these are false claims. And while that's mass party politics, the Belize Peace Movement, which is attempting to force a redistricting exercise before the next election, says their Supreme Court lawsuit has progressed somewhat. In a press release sent today, the Peace Movement says that on June 27th of 2020, Acting Chief Justice Michelle Arana gave an order for an independent expert to provide an objective view as to whether or not the currently defined 31 electoral divisions are sufficiently equal. That expert is also expected to assess the impact of any disproportion in the sizes of the constituencies, and he is going to identify and quantify the discriminatory effects. The BPM says that they understand that this expert, Sean P. Trendy, has completed that report, which is scheduled to be filed at the Supreme Court. The expert's report is also expected to include suggestions for the drawing of the electoral boundaries so that the number of voters can be proportionally distributed. We'll take a second break, and when we come back, we'll show you a man who pleaded guilty to robbing a Chinese store, but he says he only stole 2 bottles of rum, not 3. And gyms have been closed for 6 weeks now. Owners say it's time to reopen urgently. Don't go away.
Ready and comfort.
So you need a mobile plan that can keep up. Digi is now offering unlimited talk and text and double the data on all plans and up to 60 gigs for the Plus plans. All backed up by the fastest and largest mobile network. More work, more fun, more you. Visit your nearest Digi store today.
Meals are better at home with Coca-Cola. Collect 2 golden caps of Coca-Cola, Fanta, or Sprite 1.5 liter with the word WIN and 1 golden cap with the word microwave or 1 with the word Oster. And you can win a microwave oven or Oster pots and pans. You'll also receive a free kitchen utensil with all 1.5 liter twin pack purchases. You can collect all 4 utensils. Visit www.coca-cola.com.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
Government, 10,000 plus Belizeans became homeowners through the UDP government's mortgage write-off program. Under the PUP, the Development Finance Corporation was bankrupt. But today, the DFC is a robust and financially healthy lending institution. The United Democratic Party prides itself on taking action and getting results that benefit all Belizeans. Vote UDP. Because your future matters.
For hydration, when the choice is yours, choose the brand you have always trusted. Crystal Water. Taste you can trust.
Try to sell Patrick Faber. They will say he's a fresh breeze, the new face of the UDP, a change from the corrupt old UDP. But the truth is, Faber is no different. He was there when Penner sold the passport to Wong Hong Kim. He was there when Gaspar Vega stole the people's land and money and gave his own son $400,000. He was there during the immigration scandal, when UDP ministers were facilitating visas for money. Scandal after scandal, corruption after corruption. Faber was right in the middle of it and said nothing. The thing is, Patrick Faber is no different from any other corrupt UDP minister. He has always been part of that corrupt UDP government. This is the same UDP, the same faces, the same greed, arrogance, corruption, and incompetence. Nothing has changed. Reject them all. It is time for the UDP to go.
The official hurricane season for the Atlantic Basin, the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico is from June 1st to November 30th. If you are ordered not to evacuate, there are things you can do to get through the storm in the safest possible manner. Monitor the radio or TV for weather conditions. Stay indoors until the authorities declare the storm over. Even if the weather appears to have calmed, do not go outside. The calm eye of the storm can pass quickly, leaving you outside when strong winds resume. Stay away from all windows and exterior doors. Turn off power when there is standing water or fallen power lines. Prepare to evacuate to a shelter or to a neighbor's home if your home is damaged, or if you're instructed to do so by emergency personnel. Many hurricane-related injuries are cuts caused by flying glass and debris. Other injuries include bone fractures and puncture wounds from exposed nails, metal, or glass. Adzelot Audio and Video Production Company wants you and your family to be safe this hurricane season. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Brought to you by Adzelot Audio and Video Production Company and this station.
Earlier we told you about the shooting of Debbie D. Clark. Well, one of her alleged shooters' names came up again this morning as one of the robbers charged for the August 11th robbery of Maxwell store in Bullet Tree. His alleged accomplices in that robbery are Eden Zamora, Tyrick Theos, and Andrew Paredes. At the time of the robbery, store owner Goyutu Wu reported that the young man made off with $300, a bottle of brandy, a pack of cigarettes, and his 9mm pistol. We got more details from the head of the National Crimes Investigation, ACP Maivet, earlier today.
Police have since arrested and charged Eden Zamora, Tyrick Traylon, Nathaniel Betancourt, and Andrew Paredes, all jointly for the crime of robbery.
Sir, is this Nathaniel Betancourt the same?
It's the same from the shooting incident. It was on a Friday afternoon, sometime around 3 p.m. that 4 armed, clear complexion male persons had entered the store. 2 of whom were armed, and as a result, the proprietor was robbed of an undisclosed amount of money as well as his licensed 9mm pistol.
Today in court, Theos pleaded guilty to the robbery, saying he agreed with the facts, but it was 2 bottles of rum stolen, not 3. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison for it. And while small grocers continue to be targeted by robbers, on Saturday morning, one Placencia woman had just returned from the grocery store when she became the victim of a home invasion. This morning, ACP Maivet told us how the burglars locked Kay Westby in her bathroom while they ransacked her home.
On Saturday, sometime around 10 a.m., police were called to the home of Miss Kay Westby, who reported to the police that sometime around 9:50 a.m. she returned from the shop along with the groceries she had bought, and as she entered her premises, she was then followed by a slim, dark complexioned male person who produced a firearm and demanded money. And as a result, she was shoved into her bathroom and locked in there, where the person then ransacked her home and stole an amount of items before leaving. Police are seeking one suspect in relation to this investigation. There have been a couple of aggravated burglaries over the last 2 months or so, but some of them were concentrated in the St. Bight and a little further north, not in Placencia proper. We have had some arrests in the past for those aggravated burglaries in the past.
Do you foresee that the crime rate in Placencia will continue to rise, unless things pick up again?
No, with the current strategies, patrolling strategies and operations taking place, we do not expect that this will continue to be the case.
Westby says that she was robbed of $60 in cash, a black Samsung A11 and a black Samsung Galaxy S6 at the point of what appeared to be a handmade gun. Gyms have been closed since Sunday, August 23rd by a part of the COVID prevention measures. That was 5 weeks ago, and there's no mention of an end to this extended shutdown. It's a source of great frustration for gym goers, and now the gym owners are organizing to demand an end to the gym blockade. Cherise Halsall spoke to a few of them in Belmopan today.
This morning, we spoke to 2 gym owners, part of a coalition of 26 others, who are arguing for the reopening of gyms.
For us, in terms of gym owners and even gym members, we look at gym as an essential service, especially with the current issue of this pandemic. We do realize that there's a concern when it comes to the spreading of it in the gyms. However, we're more than prepared to, we've been adhering to protocols, but if there needs to be extended measures, we're quite fine with adopting new measures to ensure this happens. I do know Belize tends to be a bit higher when it comes to NCDs and non-communicable diseases, and it's shown that exercise plays a massive role in mitigating that. And especially when we look at it when it comes to more holistic health in terms of nutrition, combined with exercise.
Belmopan-based gym owner Darwin Gallardo is making this argument for the second time, after being one of the louder voices for the first gym reopening. Today, he says that government measures have hit him hard, turning his budding gym franchise back into a solitary location.
I saw a picture the other day of a bus being crammed with people standing. People are breathing on each other, sweating. Those buses are hot. And why are you not allowing gyms to open when we follow the rules? We launched a survey last week on Thursday or Friday. We have over 210 responses, all positive. We even included a part where people can actually express themselves. Every single person on it has said that the gyms, every gym that they're a member of, has been following protocol. Why is it that we're not allowed to exercise the guidelines that we were given? We were doing fine. Unfortunately, I had to close San Ignacio location. The comeback from that place, from that location, it will take a couple months, and the best move now was just to simply close down.
And Muscle Hut trainer Stanley Humes says it's not just about gym owners and their bottom lines. It's also about the gym staff, who, under the present circumstances, aren't able to pay their bills or even provide for their families.
We all know if this is your means to make to survive, it will affect you. We all have bills. Some of us have, for example, mortgages. If you have to pay a mortgage or a school loan, or even a bank for a personal loan, they might give you the excuse for a period of time. And you see, worldwide, people, they're getting a little 3 months break, but they can't take them out of they can't take them out of their house, their household, right? So this is important because it's wellness. It's not about just the business owner, they want to have people come in their gym, right? If you check right now, you go on the Ring Road or you go in the Marion Jones Stadium, you see people running, you see people walking. they're looking for means, and this helps with their sanity, right? So wellness is a huge part of our lifestyle, and we will look for sanity. We will look for that peace, you know.
But while the gyms remain closed, this gym association isn't giving up. They're submitting a proposal to the NOC and ultimately to the Prime Minister with the request that gym reopenings be tabled for discussion. Cherise Halsall, 7 News.
It was one of the most tragic stories of 2019, the death of 8-year-old Gabriela Corrales. Corrales was struck and crushed by a vehicle that at the time was being driven by an unlicensed and uninsured minor. Corrales had been heading home from school riding a bike across a pedestrian ramp when her young life was cut short due to the carelessness of someone who had no business driving. And while that story couldn't be any more tragic, it was disturbing to say the least this weekend when reports surfaced that the case files for the accident that killed little Gabby seems to have disappeared. This morning, ACP Maivet told the press that police have yet to make checks for the file. He says that while he can't be aware of its status at the DPP's office, there is a backup electronic file that should, if that should be needed.
As far as we know, the matter is slated to come up for preliminary inquiry at the Magistrates Court sometime in October, and that the file was sent to the office of the DPP upon signature. So we have not yet made checks to see where the file is. But we know that it is not in our possession because it was sent to the office of the DPP. There is a process which is followed in order to get this done, and that there is usually a duplication of the file, and the file is hand-delivered and is then handed over upon signature. And that is the way it is also sent back when it is sent back to us from the DPP's office. The investigator would probably have his copy, and then the original would probably go to the DPP, or in some instances, or in most instances now, these statements or most part of the file or the electronic case file is usually saved. Right. So it is just a matter of going back and retrieving what was saved in terms of the electronic case file. I believe that the Commissioner will have an update for you in relation to this matter, or when we next meet at a press briefing.
The Belize Trade and Investment Development Service, better known as Beltrade, is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Beltrade is a statutory body of the government of Belize, and its primary purpose is to promote and facilitate trade and investment in Belize. But part of the organization's mission is to assist and advise Belizean entrepreneurs and small business owners to navigate the day-to-day challenges and obstacles that come with running their enterprises. They've been doing so for 20 years now, and to mark all those success stories, they've dedicated the 7th edition of the Invest Belize magazine to their clients who have managed to thrive in the ever-changing business climate. The staff held a virtual ceremony today via Facebook to launch the new magazine and to celebrate their 2-decade-long history. Here are a few excerpts from the keynote speakers during that event.
Since its establishment in 2000, Beltrade has been mandated to create and promote a dynamic and competitive business environment that inspires confidence for investment. Fast forward to today, Beltrade continues to champion and redefine the way Belize stimulates investor confidence by promoting entrepreneurship, supporting business growth, and encouraging innovation. Since the inception of the Invest Belize magazine in 2012, 6 volumes have been published under various themes, becoming Belize's flagship publication on business. This edition of the Invest Belize magazine is being launched under the theme Beltrade at 20 in 2020, in commemoration of Beltrade's 20th anniversary. This volume highlights success stories of clients that have worked along with the various units of Beltrade, and in so doing provides numerous examples that can inspire those with an entrepreneurial vision to make it a reality. As we navigate the business environment in the era of COVID, we recognize that businesses and investors will continue to need assistance and guidance to adjust to new challenges.
Beltrade has grown from strength to strength. When this organization was first instituted 20 years ago, it was envisioned to become the investment promotion and facilitation agency of the government of Belize. Today, fostering investment confidence is still a major goal of the young and very talented professionals who lead the charge. While we are living in an unprecedented time, I have never been more optimistic about the future of our country in the hands of this organization that has helped to chart the way forward for Belize's economic development. Since its inception, hundreds of developers and local businesses and entrepreneurs have accessed our support services and has enabled millions of dollars in investments in new industries that has translated to thousands of jobs for our citizens. These successes are chronicled in our many publications, including this 7th edition of our Invest Belize magazine. The stories in this magazine are those of resilience and determination and the importance of partnerships for business success. The pandemic has caused an unprecedented health crisis on a global scale. Despite the sudden shift to the quote-unquote new normal, it is Beltrade's firm commitment to continuously work to execute its mandate as effectively and as efficiently as we can.
Beltrade has 4 subunits to carry out its functions: Belize Invest, Export Belize, the Small Business Development Center, and the Belize Training and Employment Center. Last week, we told you how the National Evangelical Association of Belize came out swinging against the Barrow administration. That's because, according to them, the Prime Minister and the National AIDS Commission's chair have decided to exclude evangelicals from the consultation process related to the shelved Equal Opportunities Bill. As we told you, the NEAB has insisted that from its reading of the draft bill, they interpret it to be a pro-LGBT initiative. Well, the gay rights activist Caleb Orozco and his organization, UNIBAM, are accusing NEAB of being dishonest and disingenuous. In a press release sent today, Orozco and UNIBAM says, quote, NEAB's attack on LGBT Belizeans is designed to confuse and sustain a culture of bigotry in a country with a long history of diversity among its people. To say we do not support hate or rejecting people, but to only support legitimate categories listed by the EOB is an attempt to promote rejection of LGBT Belizean citizenship rights. We call on the NEAB to read the revised EOB and to become more accurate in its position, to reflect the words of the Council of Churches and the Catholic Bishop value of human dignity, and to replace its bigotry with efforts to advance the equal protection of all citizens, end quote. 64,252 persons have applied for assistance under Phase 2 of the COVID-19 Unemployment Relief Program, and as of this morning, 30,544 applications have been approved. According to a release, these have been sent to the National Bank of Belize for payment. So what happened to the other 30,000+ applicants? Well, 17,243 are still remaining to be reviewed, and then 13,000 were rejected because they are either already receiving some kind of government assistance or are not verifiably unemployed. and another 3,500 have been asked to make corrections to errors in their applications. A press release says that Phase 2 of the unemployment relief was intended to cover the 3-month period, August to October. All efforts are being made to ensure that all 6 payments are processed for all approved applicants by the end of October. For those who are being approved later in Phase 2, there will be some acceleration of payments as we come to the end of Phase 2. Last week, we told you about the drug plane that landed in the Orange Walk district. One man was charged, but for an unrelated offense. Noel Card was charged for a single round of prohibited ammunition found on his 260-acre farm in the London area of the Old Northern Highway. But since then, he hasn't been charged for any drug plane-related offenses, even though the plane landed on his farm. All this dispute, and despite the fact that the commissioner claimed he would be charged for facilitating a plane landing on an illegal aerodrome. This morning, we asked the head of the NCIB why it hasn't happened yet.
There is no new update. The investigation is still ongoing, and no, Noel Card was not charged. He was released, and the investigation still continues.
Sir, I believe the last time the police had seemed sure, they had enough to charge these men with something.
Yeah, but I would say after what we had was submitted, it needed further work. So he was released pending further investigation.
And that's all we have for you for tonight. Thanks for watching With Your News. I'm Indra Craig. Remember that you can see a streaming video of this newscast at 7newsbelize.com. Brought to you by Digi for the best postpaid plans in the country. Remember now to wash those hands, to wear a mask at all times in public, and to keep your social distance. Stay safe and make sure to join me back here tomorrow at 6. Until then, have a great night.